Hey there, I am so glad that you decided to join me on the speaking adventure. Before you dive into the speaking strategies I share in this book, I thought I'd share a little bit about how I became a speaker at the age of 40 and why I feel so passionate about helping others get their message heard. As a child of two former teachers, it was no accident that I also dreamed of being a teacher when I was growing up. And that's what speaking feels like to me, teaching. And from my first public speech to my entire middle school at the age of 13 to my first day in college when I heard I could major in speech communication, I was hooked. I ended up getting both a bachelor's and a master's degree in speech communication and had the honor of teaching interpersonal communication at Cal State Fullerton University in my 20s. After completing my master's degree, I decided that although I love teaching, I didn't feel called to continue on the path of becoming a college professor. And the path I ended up on was unexpected and extremely valuable. This was back in the early 90s, and I remember looking for jobs in the classified section of the newspaper, mailing in actual paper resumes and cover letters for corporate training jobs. One day, I had a meeting with a recruiter, and he said, "You should be in sales." I immediately disagreed, but he was a better salesperson than I was, and guess what? I ended up in sales. This ultimately led me to various positions throughout my career with amazing companies and learning the power of consistency, listening, and relationships. But what about my passion for teaching? What was I going to do with my degrees? Well, I will admit, no matter where my career led me, I always managed to write manuals to make everyone's life easier. I would be asked to speak, lead meetings and trainings. In my late 30s, I was fortunate to have participated in some deep personal growth work with a privately held company here in Southern California. I had experienced massive results from this work and was intent on creating a life that felt in alignment with my own inner voice. As luck would have it, they were looking for someone to handle their business development. And guess what? My role would be to speak about mindset to groups of people and invite them to take workshops so they could create more extraordinary lives. That is how I became a speaker at the age of 40, only a mere 16 years after getting my master's degree. An overnight success. I remember starting out, I had 0 clients and 0 speaking gigs. But remember all that sales training? I had that. And I had something else even more potent. I had a passion for what I was offering. Remember, I had experienced my own massive results from the work I had done. I couldn't wait to see the results that other people would get. In that first year, I booked 83 speaking gigs in my local area and invited hundreds of people to participate in personal growth workshops. This translated to thousands of dollars in sales that kept growing year after year. Along the way, I founded the OC Speakers Network. OC stands for Orange County because at the time we would meet in person in Orange County, California. And yes, you can imagine it in sunny California. We literally met in a beautiful location directly facing the Pacific Ocean. I created the OC Speakers Network so that people had a place to connect, learn, and collaborate with each other. Networking for speakers was different from other networking groups. The leads we were looking for were different. We wanted speaking gigs. You know how sometimes you get an unexpected result? That's what happened to me from the OC Speakers Network. Speakers kept asking me how I got all my speaking gigs. I have averaged 60 gigs a year for many years. They were seeing me on stages everywhere and wanted to know the secret sauce. Initially, I told them, I don't have time to teach you. It wasn't that I didn't want to, but I realized it was more than just a couple of magic beans. Although what I did was duplicatable, it was also a combination of strategies that would take longer than a few minutes to explain. A couple of years passed, and I was on the phone with one of the members of the OC Speakers Network. He asked me to tell him about my speaking coaching business. I said, I don't have one. Well, we finished up our conversation, and I decided in that moment that I was open for business. By the next day, my speaking coaching business, Get Speaking Gigs Now, was born. Have you ever really leaned into your zone of genius? I know that when I have that experience, the words pour out of me easily and I feel in flow. It's like, finally, I'm home. I've now given over 600 talks at the time of this recording, and I've coached many powerful, intelligent, confident professionals who are heart-centered and truly want to make an impact with their message in the Speakers Training Academy. One of my favorite things to do is help fellow speakers give birth to their talks through my Get Your Talk Ready to Rock sessions. That's where the magic begins. It's where your message comes to life and is given to others who can benefit. It's so yummy. And getting your talk ready to rock is just the beginning. I'm there every step of the way as my clients get ready to be ready and really announce themselves as speakers and learn how to turn on a continuous faucet.